Got Your Back Pod Stream is brought to you by Mr. Dirk. From casual wear to suits and formals, Mr. Dirk helps you find the perfect fit with the right look for any occasion. Step up your wardrobe at MrDirk.com.
All right, how we doing, folks? Oilers shut out in Sin City, and the 3-game winning streak comes to an end. They're coming home after this road trip. Pretty solid road trip. Would have liked to win against that division opponent, but can't win them all. And they could not find the offense tonight. So a 1-0 loss is the final score. Welcome to Got Your Back, folks. Jason Strudwick standing by. We're going to break this thing down. Chris Sabunia is at the controls in Kelowna. We got a great show lined up for you tonight. As always, our program brought to you by our good friends at Play Alberta. When you gamble, use your game sense. Play Alberta makes it easy to set deposit limits, time limits, and more so you can play casino games and bet on sports safely, securely, and responsibly. Everything you need to know you can find at playalberta.ca. We are in our Adrenaline Diesel studio. If you need a part manufactured, replicated, or repaired, Adrenaline Diesel has you covered with their brand new machine shop. Visit adrenalinediesel.ca. Surprise, Struds, we have a podcast tonight. Surprise! Sorry if it caught you off guard.
I just confirmed it with a text today. I feel like this is escalating quickly, but now I know.
Escalating, all right. Yeah.
Now I know.
You angered the big guy. And just for anybody that didn't catch last show, Struddy dedicated his entire Struddy's world to pissing and moaning about the fact that there was a schedule change that he was made aware of, that he forgot he was made aware of. So my sense on that, Struds, was by the end of that Struddy's world, you were you were eating it a little. Was my sense. I don't know. It felt that way to me. You came in hot and then limped out of the segment.
No, and that's definitely one way of interpreting it. But I was just if you didn't see it last night, the Coles notes is that you're very organized. So I doubted myself when I looked the schedule he sent out and it wasn't on there. I'm like, am I wrong? And so I put it out there, and then I get in trouble for putting it out there for double checking it, right? So. Tough. Oh, what's this guy's name? Name?
Oilers offense. We're following Schauger's schedule. Didn't know they had a game today till third period from JL. JL is a loyal listener. He knows what's going on episode to episode. Well, there was definitely some chirping that was in the Got Your Back chat today. The one that I liked here, Struds, because my point to you was we discussed what the schedule was going to be at the end of the last pod, and the other guy who was on that with us was just Steve Taylor.
Right. Steve-O. And
Steve corroborated that, yes, he said that schedule was made clear to me. So he knew when the next show was, and you were part of that conversation. So, I mean, look, it's not about who's right or who's wrong. I just want to make sure that our processes are working properly and efficiently, Struds. And now it's been confirmed to me that my process is fine, and you need to get more efficient with your listening.
No, that's fair. And I mean, Steve-O is your typical yes man, so, we just.
He's not even here to defend himself. I guarantee he's watching tonight, though. So, Steve-O, go ahead, chime in on the stream and defend yourself, buddy.
I'm going to get a mean-spirited text from Steve.
Yeah, I bet you.
Everybody off. Zuby, you're next, buddy. I'm coming for you.
Yeah, look out. Struddy's been on a rampage, and he's taken on his coworkers. An equal opportunity arsehole to his coworkers.
That's fair.
Yeah, Zuby, you were listening to that mess. You have a perspective on this. You and I have been together since day one on this. What were you thinking while you heard all of that, and whose side are you taking?
Oh, gosh. I think in these matters, I usually know better than to not take my boss's side. But I know that we have those. What I'll give Struddy is we have those conversations at the end of the pod, but you guys are even an hour ahead from me. I mean, you guys are bagged by that time, and it's not like you're sitting there taking notes about everything we talked about once the pod's finished. So I'll give Struddy that maybe that wasn't the foremost thing in his mind after that discussion.
Fair enough. Okay, enough about that nonsense.
Sit on the fence, Doobie. Hey,
Yeah,
Oh man, that's what I do, Struz.
oh, there's Steve. There's Steve
There he
chiming in. Leave me out of this is what he says. No, Steve, you're in it. You're in it because you were on the show. You were honest. So you're in this now. And don't worry, I got your back. If Struddy's coming at you, I got you covered, buddy. He's got back. Don't mess with Steve. Yeah, let's do it.
No.
All right, 1-0 the Oilers lose this game. Let's get to breaking it down, courtesy our friends at the Alberta Ram dealers. The Drive at Home holiday event has arrived. $13,600 in total discounts on a 2024 Ram 1500 DT Laramie Crew Cab. These trucks are decked out to the max. Powerful, amazing in the snow. Just a great unit. See your local Ram dealer today. All right, Struds. You got the sense early it was going to be pretty tight checking. I think Louis said it in the first minute of the broadcast. He sensed it was going to be that way. And really, that was the type of engagement that it ended up being for the Oilers. You knew any tiny little mistakes potentially were going to prove costly. So definitely a costly mistake on the goal. But at the same time, you got to be able to score, to win games and overcome some of those mistakes. So I don't know where you want to start with it, buddy, the goal or the overall gameplay, but it was what it was.
Well, let's talk about what happened to Vegas just a couple nights ago. They got absolutely hammered by, I think it was Utah, 6-0. So, this is a team that is built on defending. Obviously, they got a lot of talent, but they take great pride in defending, clogging up the middle of the ice. So not really a surprise, and Louis nailed it. He was right on it. It was like there's no room out there. Later in the broadcast, Louis was talking about how many times a stick of Vegas deflected, knocked down, changed a pass the Oilers are trying to make. They just put an absolute clinic on. They in the third period clogged up the middle of the ice. The Oilers were in the offensive zone a ton, but how many really, really good looks do they get from the middle of the ice? And it looks good when you're in there and you're not really getting a lot done. So Vegas played a very tight game. You're right. That one mistake by Leon, or not, let's not call it a mistake. Let's call it a miscue, right? Just a kind of the play that didn't work out. But the Oilers did have some chances to score. They weren't able to do it. And Vegas is comfortable just sitting there being like, yep, we're just going to rope a dope here, this thing, and keep it outside.
Yeah, I'm going to disagree with you. I'm going to call it a mistake, and I'm going to call it not a great one. But I think Chris Knoblauch put really good perspective on this after the game because, these guys make mistakes. They happen. All the top-end players have the puck most of the night, and they're usually so good with it. But mistakes happen, and that's what this was. Leon Draisaitl, I get what he was trying to do. Not looking at great numbers in front of him, and if that goes wrong, it's 3 back the other way. So just a little bit, I don't know, lackadaisical maybe on a touchback pass to Evan Bouchard that came up short. Odd man rush the other way, and it ends up in the back of the net. We can talk about the 2-on-1 in a minute. But I do think it was a mistake from Leon Draisaitl. But again, we'll go to the Weiss Johnson soundbox real early here, and let's get to Chris Knoblauch. It's a long clip, but he details his thought process when a guy like Draisaitl makes a play like that.
If that redirections another foot in another area, and then it's picked up, and we probably have a good quality shot. It wasn't there, and it's probably one he wants back, but it happens. And the amount of opportunities he creates, it's not always going to be perfect. There are going to be mistakes, and if you have players never making mistakes, they're probably never creating much. And sometimes you just have to accept the mistakes are going to happen. And there was a mistake on that goal. And, if there's mistakes happening where players aren't creating very much, well, then you've got a big problem. But like I said, if guys never make a mistake, you're probably not generating very much.
I think that's the right way to handle that situation, Struds. Honest about it, but also totally understanding that stuff happens, and Draisaitl gets so much positive stuff on the other side.
So the further you move up the lineup, the longer the rope you have from the coach to
I know.
and that's the truth. And like you understand it. And so you're sitting on the bench thinking, this guy does so many great things. This guy being Leon or Connor, that, if they try to do something that doesn't work out, you're like, okay, he's probably going to get, that back 20 times over the next like month or two. Right. So it's unfortunate though, that it resulted in a goal against, you'd rather just be a chance against. Now you could debate that maybe, the time where it's at, understanding how Vegas likes to play, maybe could have made a different play, but he makes plays. That's what he gets paid. What does he get paid, Sugar? 13 million, whatever it is, or whatever he's going to get next year. Like, he gets
14,
paid to make those plays. He has the ability. Now, if that's further down the lineup, if that's Derek Ryan making that play, that's a really hard one to swallow, because that is not his normal pattern of playing. So I get it. It's hard. You hope that you can pick up your teammate. They weren't able to, and Vegas scores, and that ends up being the difference. So that's a hard one. I think Leon would be frustrated by that, but he's going to get it back.
Oh, 1,000%. What did you think of the play back in the other direction? Bouchard laid out and it worked until it didn't work. But initially it seemed like the right play to make.
Yeah, bit of a lucky bounce there, right? And I Craig McTavish and I have debated this before. I don't like D-men going down. Brownie the other night said he finds it harder when they do go down, and I get it. The timing is tough, but once you're down, you're like a ship in the middle of the ocean with no motor. There's nothing you can do. You're just dead in the water. But obviously, that's now a couple times we've seen that. That's obviously how they want them to play it. They are going down, and Darnell goes down, so that's the way they're going to play it. So, you're trying to take away the pass back door, and it didn't go well this time. But whatever. Maybe over the course of the time, you stop more than you let in, by laying down.
Okay, let's get back to the Weiss Johnson soundbox here, because Matthias Ekholm made a point. You brought it up earlier in the show already, but I want to talk a little bit about it and cross-reference it with what the stats from Sport Logic will tell us tonight. And our soundbox is brought to you by Weiss Johnson Heating and Air Conditioning. Get your home holiday ready with Weiss Johnson. And a new furnace installed before Christmas, offering free duct cleaning. Whether your old furnace is given up or you're just looking to upgrade for a cozier holiday, they got you covered. And your ducts. Visit weiss-johnson.com for more details.
Weiss Johnson, whoa.
Matthias Ekholm postgame.
How they play, and sometimes when they're on their game, it's hard to generate a lot of offense, and maybe those quality looks, it feels like you're in their zone a lot, but you're mostly on the perimeter. But I did, as you said, I thought we had some good looks. I thought we had some chances, but yeah, they had a goaltender, and we'll have to learn from this game, because I'm sure we'll see these guys again, and make sure we find ways to create even more.
So you talked about perimeter. Matthias Ekholm talked about perimeter. Natural stat trick will tell us at even strength, the Oilers had 10 slot shots on net. Vegas had 7. Slot driving plays. So plays where the Oilers tried to get to the puck to the middle of the ice, where they drove the slot in the offensive zone. 30 for the Oilers and 15 for Vegas. But slot driving plays at 30, slot shots at 10. So Vegas, maybe to your point, Struds, I do think the Oilers were trying to get there. I think Vegas just did a really good job.
Oh, yeah. And so, I want to be clear. I'm not suggesting that they were just content to stay on the outside.
Right.
But when if you just took a snapshot, almost anytime in the third period, you'd see what they call the 5 on the die, right? So 2D, a center, and then 2 forwards. And their sticks are all on the ice, knocking down passes, making it really hard to break in there. And Vegas does it. Let's go back 2 years in the playoffs, and we saw that too. The Oilers are in their zone, and I remember saying, "Man, it feels like they should be scoring more. They're in their zone." Well, it's a bit misleading. You're there, but you're not really there. You're just kind of visiting on the perimeter. So, so many good opportunities, and they were trying hard to get there, but they were just unable to finish those few chances they had. And I would say that, I don't have the stats in front of me, but I'd guess the Oilers outchanced Vegas 2-1, maybe somewhere in there. if not 2-1, close, maybe close to 2-1, like a 12-7 or
just taking a look here. High danger scoring chances were 18-7 Oil at all strengths, although there were no penalties. So there you have that right there. That's the main one. Yeah, is the high danger. We're 18-7.
So like they did enough to win this game. Like there's no doubt in my mind. But at the end they didn't. But you give up one goal to a team. Another team's hunkering down. Like they're right there. Mm-hmm. They're 1-2 shots away from scoring. That team doesn't have Mark Stone, who's a huge part of their group. Does Hyman or Arvidsson, are they able to finish off one of those plays or find a way to help score? Because Connor and Leon were absolutely buzzing. In the first and second wasn't too excited, but the third,
they were buzzing. Oh yeah,
and they were relentless out there, absolutely relentless on the puck. Didn't matter who was beside him there.
So it was an interesting matchup for Stu Skinner tonight. I know, Struds, you and I said that we would have him on our Team Canada. Does not look like it's going that way. Dregs and the guys on Insider Trading today, lots reporting that Sam Montembeault will be the third goaltender, along with Jordan Biddington and Aiden Hill. So it's Skinner versus Hill tonight. Skinner coming off a really strong performance the other night. And, I thought Skinner, like there's lots of Skinner chatter going on in the YouTube stream. And there's always lots of talk about the goaltenders. But he let in one goal tonight. What did you think of the goal? But the matchup and maybe what the Oilers faced at the other end and the level of play that Hill threw out.
Yeah. So I've reached out to a buddy for goal that knows goalies. And he's like, you know what? He played a really good game. Like, let's talk about the Thomas Hurdle save. Drake Kajula just serves up a pizza and Hurdle comes down and he's a horse. And that was a huge save. That was an absolutely beautiful save. The goal against, bad luck. What do you want him to do? There's bad luck out there. And so that one is, I'm not going to make him wear that one too heavy, but he made some really good saves. Aiden Hill also made saves. Now, to be fair, he was under pressure way more. And as you just talked about, he had way more big chances after stop. But Skinner stood in there. This is not a game where I say the goalie lost him this game at all. So, I haven't looked at the stream just yet, but I don't, anyone who's calling for, Skinner to be ousted after this game, I'm like, well, the Oilers had their chance to score. They were unable to score. And then ultimately that was the difference in this game, because this could have easily been a 2-1 win for the Oilers.
Yeah. And I mean, there's not so much talk about him being ousted, and we're not even going to go down that path because it's not relevant conversation at this moment. But it was an interesting matchup for Skinner tonight, right? I'm sure word trickles back to those guys. They have a sense of what's going on. They would know at this point. And so an interesting matchup. But I thought he battled hard. And I think Stuart Skinner's game is coming around. And while it does not look like he's going to be on this team, I will stand by what you and I said last night. And one of my main points was, by the time this tournament starts, Stuart Skinner perhaps should not only be on the team, but he could be in the conversation as if he were on the team, would he be starting? I think the Oilers are going to turn this thing between here and there, and I think Stuart Skinner is going to continue turning his game between here and there. And of all the guys they have, I mean, Skinner's got real good high-end game. And it's not like the guys that are on the team are going like crazy this year, Struds, and putting up unreal numbers. So it was an interesting night for me from Stuart Skinner. Anything on that?
Yeah, I don't love to give either of you guys credit for much you say, but I can't remember which one of you said it. But what you guys said that, guys like Bouchard and Skinner are maybe feeling the pressure to play well, to perform, to make this team. And, at the time I not that I blew it off, but I was like, okay, I was like, interesting. I'm not sure. They just went to the Stanley Cup final. But maybe that is the truth, right? Maybe that is what happened, because both dipped down below the floor that I thought that they'd set for themselves. And even Hyman, he comes off 54 goals, and yes, he was getting chances, but he's just unable to bury those, just bury those ones. So maybe the pressure was felt. So now that it's over, or we'll know by this time tomorrow night, it's over, and then everyone comes back and they get going. So that's a good learning lesson. But I as an older fan, I think you got to go look at it both ways. If they don't make it, Schauger, I don't think them not playing it is a bad thing. They've had a lot of hockey, and that's tough.
Yeah.
But the growth for Bouchard and Skinner can't be underestimated. Like I do think being around those high level players and those high, I mean, I don't know how high pressure it's going to be, but that is a growing opportunity that is good for the Oilers moving forward.
But Struds, you know what I think it's about? I don't think it's about, Evan Bouchard or Stuart Skinner sitting there going, oh God, I always dreamed of playing a Four Nations face-off. Like, I don't think it has anything to do with that. This tournament is connected in a different way to the Olympics. The proximity of this best on best to the Olympics. Players who make Team Canada, and remember, it's largely going to be the same brain trust that's part of this whole thing. I know they've split it up a little bit, but really, players who make Team Canada and perform extremely well at this tournament, that will give them a leg up to go represent their country at the Olympic Games. And that is something that guys grow up dreaming of the opportunity to go do. So for bubble players, and Bouchard and Hyman and Skinner would all be bubble players, I think it's more about setting the stage for a potential Olympic appearance than it is about anything to do with the Four Nations this year. That's where the pressure comes from.
But I'll say this. I believe that the top 4 D-men this year will be on that Olympic team next year, right? Taze McCarr, Morrissey, and not Morrissey. No, sorry. Theodore and Petrangelo. I would be surprised if those 4. After that, I mean, you're hearing Parayko. Is he going to be there next year? Maybe, but Morrissey probably too. So you're at 5. So there's 2 spots open, or they take 8. Maybe they take 8 to the Olympics. But either way, there will be opportunity, and then like knock on wood, injuries as well, guys.
Zuby, is Harry L. Polinsky your buddy?
No, no, you're thinking of Gord Parchewski.
Okay, sorry, I'm confusing Harry Polinsky and Gord Parchewski, which
pretty similar.
Great handles, just
very
great
good
handles.
Harry's one of our international fans too. It escapes me right now where he tunes in from.
Where he's from? Well, let us know where you're from. I figured he must be your buddy though, because he just chimed in out of the blue. Zuby, you deserve a pay rise. So I think, he meant raise there. You deserve a pay rise. And the Ask Us Anything segment should incorporate your opinion more. You are the most qualified to comment on goalies. So little love for Zuby from Harry L. Polinsky from overseas.
Harry and I are having a little chat here just about Skinner's game and that goal. So that's it didn't come completely out of nowhere. We were going back and forth a little bit.
What'd you think of the goal against, Zoobs?
It is kind of fluky and it's super frustrating, but I let that goal in. And Stu probably shouldn't. It's okay. That's all I would.
I think
because it's more of a what do you call it? It's just a fundamental thing. His stick came up as he's getting back up. His fundamentals should be. It's that thing. Oh, the pass is coming. No, it's not. I got to get back up, and then that's when it comes underneath. But if you're really fundamentally sound and strong, if his stick's flat on the ice, it doesn't go in, right? I mean, that's where it just tucked under the pad there. So I'm sure he doesn't like it, but it is kind of a fluky play.
Harry says, I just think the man needs a bit of love. Okay, Harry. That's lots of love for Zuby.
Thanks, pal. I get it. I get enough love. I appreciate it.
All right, let's get to our UCAN Youth Services Relentless Player of the Night. Are you looking to hire entry-level staff for your company? UCAN Youth Services trains youth in pre-employment skills to help get them ready, willing, and able to join your team. Check out www.ucan.ca for more information. Who are we giving the nod to tonight, my friend?
Aiden Hill. I thought Aiden Hill had a good night. Not an incredible night, but a really good night. He was, he would be on guard for the whole third period. Basically, the puck was in his end. And I thought he had a really good night tonight. So, Aiden Hill, is he the guy, the starter? When we talk about the Four Nations Cup, it's going to be hard to beat him.
The save I liked, I think it was in the third period where Evan Bouchard just had a clean look, unloaded a low slap shot through some traffic, and Hill, to me, was just really solid positionally. Don't know how much of it he saw through the screen. Makes a great save. I think that was the one where the rebound was there. Just really, really steady. When the Oilers were really, really pushing, he didn't give an inch. Like, he didn't make any mistakes, and he didn't give an inch. He was just there, steady as could be.
And he looks huge. He looks absolutely huge. His equipment is massive.
Yeah, for sure. Okay, let's wrap this segment up by setting up our YouTube poll. Zuby, brought to you by DeBoer's Golf Shop and Fitting Center, helping you play better golf since '99. They've been around a long time. Great local company. It's a great outfit over there. They got their TrackMan fitting bays. Scotty, TJ, Al, the whole crew. They're so friendly. They make it feel like you're walking into your home. They're always so welcoming, and it's just nothing but fun in there. So highly recommend you go see them, 5311 99th Street in Edmonton. Zuby,
What's up?
good to see you. That is a bright reindeer-y sweater. What does it say?
This is my other. Well, this is my. I thought we were setting up. No, I'm kidding. For the other poll, this is my diehard Christmas sweater. It's not Christmas until Hans Gruber falls from Nakatomi Plaza. I thought we were doing the movie. I thought we were doing the movie poll tonight. No, it's the Die Hard reference, man. No, I'm just kidding. I didn't think we were doing it. I just thought I would chuck it on. I like to be festive. So here's the actual poll. The actual poll tonight is lots of people were ripping pretty hard at how much they hate losing to Vegas in the stream before we even started. So who do you consider to be the Oilers' biggest rival right now? The options we gave were Vegas, Vancouver, Calgary, or other, to have people write in the chat, and we've got a few of those as well. And we can get to those. We'll get to those. I'm keeping a little tally, and we'll get to some of those when we wrap it up later in the show. But lots of votes coming in and lots of write-in votes as well.
You thought maybe an honorable mention for an Eastern team, Struts? We're throwing in there?
Yeah, you know what? I think that there's a Toronto. I think it's a growing kind of rivalry with the Toronto Maple Leafs because of the Connor McDavid connection to Toronto, and then Austin Matthews, and people debating who the better player is. And I don't think anyone's debating it west or east of Toronto, but they're definitely debating it there, just like they debated about Chris Tanev being on Team Canada. So I think that is something I think that's there. I mean, if they could both make to the final someday in the next 5 years, it'd be amazing. It'd be great for hockey.
And it would also be great for you and your overdrive paycheck.
Oh, man.
Which I know that's what this is about. You want the Oilers in Toronto to be it's big rivalry in a Stanley Cup final, so Struddy gets to go national. I know that's your play here, buddy. You can't get off this little local podcast fast enough. Overdrive is calling. You're going to be gone soon. It'll be Brownie, Zuby, and just Steve.
Those fans hate me. Or hate to love me, or which one? I think maybe it's hate to love me. But I go on there. So I'd love to see Leafs Oilers. I think it'd be great. It'd be great.
Yeah. Neil Garrity, I think he's trolling me, says Oilers out-hit Vegas and lost. I got news for you, Neil. 11 hits for the Oilers and 6 for Vegas. So
I know. I saw that.
I looked at the Oiler hit totals and I was just like steam coming out of my ears. And then I look at Vegas's and I went, oh, that's even worse. That's even worse. Yeah. Wasn't really that kind of game tonight. We got lots more to break down in our next segment. Takeaways is coming up. You've got it locked on to Got Your Back, presented by our title sponsor, Play Alberta. Right back.
Specializing in heavy-duty commercial truck powertrain repair, performance, tuning, and part sales, Adrenaline Diesel's professional team is ready to assist you with all of your needs, from the simplest oil changes to engine conversions, overhauls, and engine modifications. Featuring an all-new online parts store and machine shop to manufacture, replicate, or repair parts, visit adrenalinediesel.ca.
Ready to go all in this season? Mr. Dirk's got you covered with express on-site tailoring, a wide selection of craftsman-made suits, sport coats, and casual staples for every occasion. Score big with Mr. Dirk. We've always got your back. Visit us off White Ave, south of 102nd Street, or browse online at mrdirk.com.
Neil Garrity says, I wasn't really trolling you, Shoggy, but I will take it. And Draisaitl chimes in by saying, great first seg, boys. Thanks, Draisaitl. We'll try and follow it up here in Takeaways, brought to you by Martin Motorsports. Have you heard of the Widescape? The ultimate snowmobile for enduro adventures. Go beyond the trail and explore your winter playground with the WS250. It's agile. It's lightweight, compact, perfect for your next adventure. Right now, get 2-year warranty plus $600 in accessories with the purchase of a Widescape snowmobile. Visit Martin Motorsports to hop on one today. How much fun does that look? We're taking up Chris on his offer, and we're heading out and hopping onto a couple of those things, Struds. That looks like a ton of fun.
It does. It does look so awesome.
I don't know if my back, I don't know, like, I wonder how padded, like, when you come down, if it would be jarring on the lower vertebrae, or if I'll have to ask Chris that. Is it friendly for 47-year-olds that have 87-year-old backs?
Yeah. That just kind of takes the fun out of it, man. Why are you bringing that up? Just go, and if something happens, we'll get it. I'll fix that. I got Mr. Miyagi hands. I'll fix that up. Don't worry. Just lay down.
Sounds good. You keep your hands off me. Somebody was wondering, Struddy, if you knit that sweater that Zuby has on tonight. Who was? That was Gomez. Do you think you could do a sweater, Struds?
No.
Are you getting into that
oh
realm?
No, it would take me it would take me 1,000 years to do that. Like unless I find eternal life, I don't think I'm going to get it's just the time. It's just the time to do it. That's the problem. And I'm not pretending I'm the busiest human, but I am fairly busy, and just getting the time is tough.
So the passion is there. It's just the time is not
the
necessarily there.
The zest to produce something awesome. I'd love to have my own stall at farmers market. Just have these sweaters knitted by Strud and just have it. I'd love to have that, but I don't have the time.
You're an entrepreneur at heart and a creator. Right?
Well, wouldn't it be funny if I was at the Strathcona farmers market and someone walks up, they're like, "Oh, this is a nice sweater. Wait a minute. Aren't you Jason Strudwick?" "Yes, I am. This is a sweater I knit." That's all. I'm like, yeah, one size fits all. I have one sweater. That's it.
I have one sweater. I have one sweater and lime green scarves. That's it.
Yeah, that's all I have. So yeah, that's it. Once you buy it, I'm out. I'm out of business. I'm done. All my retail stuff is out.
Do you do embroidery? Maybe we could give you the contract to do all our Got Your Back stuff if you want. I mean, if you're wanting to spread your wings and fly here, buds.
That's another whole layer. I don't even know how to embroider. Do you know how? I don't know how to do it. I've seen the machines.
Yeah, no. But we are working on some stuff. Maybe in the new year. Gonna see if we can't bring some of the manufacturing of our Got Your Back stuff back across the border into Canada, maybe here into Alberta, because I wasn't thrilled with the duty that people have to pay when they order off our website. Right. So we're working on it, but give us a little bit of time. We'll figure it out. Okay, other elements from tonight's game I want to discuss with you. I think that, look, Connor Brown works hard. And Connor Brown, what do we got here? Gomez, you could probably knock a row or two off during Brownie Points.
Referring to the knitting.
The knitting. Yeah.
That's right. That's true. I should be more, I should try to be more
You
efficient.
would be, if you wanted to try and knit while you were doing a segment, like my mom can sit in her chair and have a full-on conversation that's thoughtful while she knits. If you want to knit during a segment, Struds, I think our viewership would be in favor of that. I think you should try.
Well, maybe that's something to look forward to. Maybe, not a bad idea. I think
all right.
have to find it. We could take a run at it.
Yeah, maybe go grab it for Ask Us Anything. You can knit while you answer questions.
Well, no, the problem is I don't know where it is right now. If you want to know the truth, I haven't knit for a while, so I need to get some up and running again.
We need an update. We definitely need an update. Okay, by the way, we'll talk about Connor Brown in a sec. Just wanted to say Brownie Points. We're all going to be doing Brownie Points. He's running a little bit late over at Ched, so probably not going to make the show tonight. We want to hear from you on who you would be giving Brownie Points tonight, and we'll integrate that into the segment when we do it. Struds, Connor Brown, he works hard. Like, I watch his team practice all the time, and, he works on things and such, but it feels to me like he should get on the Vasily Podkolzin program, because to me, like, there were some opportunities tonight, a couple that, in a tight game like this, you're elevated up the lineup. Like, you got to find a way to bury something there, right? The guy had one shot on net. How many chances was he around the net for? He missed the net 4 times. Like, that one-timer was just, it was right there for him. And it just, you know what I mean? I don't know, man. He's sharpened that stuff up a little bit. He had some good looks.
So that's the one you're talking about, where he had the one-timer right on his side and he misfires, right? Like, that's a goal you need. But there's a reason why he plays on the third line, because he's a third liner. Right? That's what's happening. So when there's injuries, you move up, and you're playing with quality players who are going to find you in those moments. And he works hard, and there's everything to like about Connor Brown. The problem is he's not going to finish those at a rate that someone else might, right? Like Evander Kane, I think Arvidsson, obviously Hyman, right? Like that's why you're further down the lineup. That is how it works. So I think our expectations for Connor Brown playing beside Leon have to be in line with kind of where his finishing rate is at, and has been kind of historically.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it's funny because when I remember interviewing him last year, and I can't remember exactly the way the question went, but it was along the lines of being more of a bottom six guy. And he was like, no, I've been a top six guy for that's what I expect of myself. Like Connor Brown expects to score 20 goals. I believe he comes into a season thinking that. That's who he's been. That's who I think he wants to be and believes he can be. And so just not, not quite sharp enough in some of those opportunities, and would have been huge tonight for him to have been able to get one. Anybody else stand out for you that was notable, Struds, that you wanna pinpoint from this game, either good or bad for the Oil?
Well, I've got someone I'm hit up in Struddy's world.
Okay.
For sure.
Well, I'll leave that alone then.
Kind of talk about that, but I guess you get into games like this. You kind of have to expect what's going to happen, right? And I kind of touched on before. The team gets spanked 6-0. They're going to tighten up defensively, so that increases the value of every chance you have to shoot and or score, because there's not going to be wide open hockey. So, and not that the Oilers play that all the time, but it's not going to be as easy as you're used to. So, I think the Oilers were probably mentally prepared for that. But I think you have to credit Vegas because they just did defensively a little bit better job than the Oilers did, right? Because they got one goal, the Oilers didn't.
We'll get back to the Weiss Johnson soundbox here real quick. I don't think we heard from Leon Draisaitl in that first segment. We didn't play that one, did we, Zuby?
No. Ekholm and...
Nope. All right. It's a quick clip, but here's Leon Draisaitl on the night.
I think two good teams. Both teams defended well. I think could have went either way. I thought we had enough looks in the third to, tie it up. But obviously their goalie was on.
They really cranked it up something fierce. Like Connor McDavid, there was a couple of shifts where they just had all that zone time. Lots of diving plays to the middle of the ice, trying to get it there. They really ratcheted up, Struds. On this night, they looked their best with McDavid and Draisaitl, the nuclear option, together. And it wasn't even close. They were way better at that point.
Yeah, putting those two guys together was a really good move tonight. But, when I think back to the game, and I made a note, how many times are we seeing Leon with his back to the middle of the ice? And so that happens often, but he can usually roll out and kind of get it going. But credit Vegas. They kept him, kind of with his wand towards the boards, rather than his wand into the middle of the ice. And that's not a Leon thing. That's Vegas doing a good job. So he's trying to protect the puck because they're doing a good job on him. So, and I'm not pinning this loss on him, but that's just an example of how Vegas was defending and making it hard for Oilers to get to the middle of the ice to make the plays that they wanted.
All right. Yeah, good stuff. We'll have a little bit more on tonight's game in Struddy's world as well. We'll do Ask Us Anything at the end of the show, so get your questions in for that as well. Before we wrap the segment, Struds, I want to talk a little bit about Ryan Reaves. Had some comments in response to Darnell Nurse's comments. So we all know what the hit looked like, and I will remind you, here is what Darnell Nurse said about the hit that Ryan Reaves put on him.
You can argue about the intent, but there's certain guys in the league that each shift they go out there and, try and go and inflict pain. And, I think it's pretty obvious what was going on there.
Here is Ryan Reaves back from suspension talking to the media today.
When you get caught by somebody, I think you're entitled to your opinion. That's fine. But I think, my 900 games and however many thousands of hits I have, speaks for itself. I play physical every game, and I've been doing it for 15 years, and I've only had a couple suspensions. The only truth that he spoke was, I go out there to inflict pain. That's that's a fact, and that's not going to stop. But I'm going to continue to do it legally. But yeah, I'm gonna keep playing hard, if not harder now, and I'm going to keep burying guys.
Going to keep burying guys. Struds, this is personal. What do you think?
It's very personal, right? This isn't Leafs versus Oilers. This isn't anything else. It's two guys that are, this game when they play is going to be fascinating how this plays out, right? There's no way Darnell will let anyone else fight him. If there's going to be a fight, it'll be him fighting Ryan Reaves. And I don't really have a problem with him saying he's trying to inflict pain on the other team. You're trying to play hard, right? You don't want to be dirty, obviously. But that's Ryan Reaves' role on his team and in the NHL. That's what he has to do. So, yeah, this is personal. And I said it that night. I said, this isn't about the team. This is about a very personal moment where, Darnell's a very proud guy, very proud. He sees himself as a very hard, tough, good player in the league. And, he felt it was a dirty hit. So I can't wait to see how this plays out. It'll be very interesting.
Definitely not surprised the way Reaves handled that. And there was reporting that Reaves went to talk face-to-face with Nurse afterwards, about the hit. When we interviewed Darnell about it, he didn't really give much detail, and that's fine. They don't have to. It wouldn't surprise me if that conversation was maybe a little cool at the time. I imagine Nurse probably wasn't very happy. So I think for Reaves, it's like Reaves in his mind probably figures like, hey, yeah, it was a bad hit. I tried to talk to the guy, whatever. Probably didn't, Nurse said what he said, and Reaves just kind of doubles down on his role, right? Kind of, puffs his chest out a little bit. I'm going to continue to bury guys. So I'm not surprised to hear that from him, considering the way all this played out.
I wouldn't even have taken the apology. Like I'd be like, no, I don't want to see him.
Yeah.
I don't want to see him. He just ran me over. It's a dirty hit. Where you want to walk over and apologize now? I've said how I felt. There's no doubt I would be fighting Reaves the next time we play. And after, I would be trying to get him back for sure. 100% I would. Now I think Darnell is cut from a similar cloth as I am, but he's way further up the lineup than I was. Like, you lose your sixth defenseman to a broken hand, it's not a big deal, right? You lose your top four defenseman or top whatever it is, top two, top three, it's a bigger problem. But what makes Darnell special is that. So are you gonna neuter him and say you can't fight that guy? That's why I can't wait to see what happens. I cannot, and it's in Edmonton. The Oilers fans will be all over Reaves the whole game.
Yeah.
I can't wait to see what happens.
By the way, there's no guarantee Reaves is even in the game that night. Like, he's not a guaranteed lock to be in the lineup every single night.
You don't think Craig Berube plays him? He gets it. I think he plays him.
Yeah. Well,
honestly,
if you're Craig Berube, you're putting Ryan Reaves in because you think the Oilers might be willing to waste some on him, right?
Yeah.
Worst case scenario, he takes the Oilers' second or third best defenseman out of the game for 5 to 7 minutes or whatever that looks like.
Yeah.
Or
creates
maybe
a
there's some
distraction.
frustration from the Oilers. Creates it. Yeah.
He creates a distraction. And I would be blown away if they choose to not play Ryan Reaves in that game coming back here.
Yeah. There will be absolutely zero criticism or judgment from me if that's a decision Darnell Nurse makes to not fight that guy. And maybe I've changed a little bit over the years. If Darnell Nurse chooses to just play the game, then I got no issue with that whatsoever. Because it's a bad trade-off. You risk injury. It's pointless. And I get it if he wants to do it. I respect it and I get it. But would you think ill or odd of him if he didn't?
No,
I just don't think it's something he has to do.
But since the time he's been drafted, has he ever given the indication that he's going to turn the other cheek here?
Yeah, you're right.
The Lord says, turn the other cheek. You think that is like, I just can't see Darnell doing that. And if he does, hey, whatever, man, I get it. But if he doesn't, I don't think we should be surprised. I just can't see him turning the other cheek. I can't see it happening.
All right, that was Takeaways brought to you by Martin Motorsports. Another break. When we come back, Struddy's World, Brownie Points, Ask Us Anything. We got our core Blue Liner segment as well. Lots of show left here on Got Your Back.
At Gallery Dental, we believe in blending exceptional care with artistry to create the perfect smile for you. From routine cleanings to advanced cosmetic procedures, our team is dedicated to providing top-notch care in a relaxed and comfortable environment. With state-of-the-art technology and a passion for perfection, we ensure that every visit is a positive experience. Join the Gallery Dental family and let us help you achieve a smile that you'll love to show off. Contact us today at sequelandentistry.com.
So at Timberhouse, our guiding philosophy is naturally inspired living. We believe that through design, we can solve problems and enhance people's lives. We follow biophilic design principles in all of our builds to incorporate natural materials, natural light, to enhance all the spaces in a home. When you have your space perfectly reflect who you are and what you value, and it's made well, we think that that just leads to better living.
I'm gonna throw any in, go ahead.
When you make a mistake, heads should roll. It's not right. And I'm here, someone has to put their foot down. Now that I say it out loud, it does sound a little crazy.
Gotta look good.
All right, time now for Struddy's World, brought to you by DLR Vinyl Products. They have locations in Calgary and in Edmonton. Whether you're a homeowner, contractor, or builder, DLR is the most reliable source for vinyl fence. They got unmatched service, high-quality North American-made products. If you need any fencing product put in your yard this upcoming spring, get ahead of it. Call Rick here in Edmonton at DLR, my brother Rob out in Calgary. A new location out in Calgary, actually. And they'll help you get a head start on it. And it's fantastic stuff. No sanding, no painting, no staining. You put it in once, it stays amazing. It's great product. And my brothers do a great job supplying it and putting it in. That's DLRvinylproducts.ca. Struds?
So we were talking a little bit earlier about, a player that maybe needed to be a little bit sharper today. And it's a little bit unfair to say this, but I'm going to go towards the third period where Bouchard does a great fake shot and shoots it backdoor to Kapanen, who I believe was surprised by the pass. And I get it. Bouchard is really, really good passer, elite. But when you're playing with a Bouchard, a Leon, a Connor, they're all on the ice with you at the same time, you have to expect the puck at any time, and you have to be shot ready. Bang, in the back net it goes. Now, does Hyman convert on that? He had 54 times last year he scored. I'd give it a better chance than Kapanen. Would Arvidsson score in that? Maybe. He's been around and kind of that NHL that for a little bit longer than Kapanen. So I believe it there too. But that is at times what separates, a first or second liner, guy that can score regularly and handle those types of plays and those types of moments and those types of passes more than even to highlight a guy like Connor Brown. And I like Connor Brown, but that isn't exactly Connor's specialty. To handle those plays that we saw the backdoor tap in. And again, not blaming either one of these guys for the loss tonight, but when you're playing up with elite players, those passes come and you have no idea they're coming, but you have to be ready at all times. So that's tonight. I think they missed a Hyman. They missed an Arvidsson for those specific moments in the game.
Yeah, there were a couple of real good comments very early on in the live stream tonight in our YouTube chat that the Oilers missed Hyman tonight. So they missed a guy who in a tight game was going to be able to get to the middle of the ice, a guy who has experience playing with those high-end players, a guy who would expect that pass and be able to convert that pass. I'm going to disagree with you on Connor Brown. I would view him every bit as much a person who needs to finish and be ready for those situations as Kapanen. I think he's shown every bit as much offensive potential, if not more, through his NHL career. So I will lump him in there as well. I think they needed that from him tonight, just like they needed that from Kapanen in that moment. And just like Vasily Podkolzin is murdering himself trying to provide for this group. Like they've needed that from Podkolzin this year too. And the guy's literally killing himself. Tony Brouwer tweeted video again of him on the ice 30 minutes before the rest of the group. So, man, I tell you what, I expect to walk into the rink one day and my hope would be there'll be somebody else out there with him. Like, how long are these other guys that aren't producing? How long is Derek Ryan going to sit on no goals and not get out there and put that work in with that guy? He is setting a standard, Struds. And I know he's a younger player, and I know, but when you got a guy that's just constantly going in and putting that work, and you look at your stats line and it is what it is, you better get out there and work with him. Am I wrong?
No, and I think that's, he's creating a culture that he's trying to improve himself, and it does not go unnoticed, right? But just to make my point clear about Connor Brown, it's that, and I know you said that he feels differently. I don't see Connor Brown, after watching him for a whole year and a half or whatever it's been, as a guy that will regularly finish those type of chances. I just don't see him as that kind of guy. So that's where I'm saying they missed Hyman. So he has those chances. I don't think he's going to bury many of them, right? And we saw it tonight. And I've seen it over and over and over again. So that's why I say that, he's got to be ready. He should bury them, but there's a reason why he and Kapanen aren't regular top 6 featured players, because they don't have that skill to bury it. And it's very harsh, but that's the truth, just because of the career path they've had.
Yeah. And it is a fair point by you. That's who Connor Brown used to be, and then he missed an entire season. And then it's who he wanted to be when he came back, and we all saw what happened last year. He found it in the playoffs, and he's had a little more of it this year, but he's not even in that middle ground yet. He still isn't producing close to the level that he was at before. So yeah, maybe my thought process is Connor Brown of 3 seasons ago, and you're being a little bit more realistic about who he is in the moment. That's why you have your own specialized segment. That was Struddy's World, brought to you by DLR Vinyl Products. Zuby, roll the happy music, buddy. Even though we don't have Brownie, we're going to celebrate and smile and have a laugh as if he were here with us, because it is time for Brownie Points, brought to you by Hamel's Premium Jerky. It's available in 14 tantalizing flavors, including the famous sweet and spicy jerky that went to the International Space Station. It is space meat. How could you not love it? And just in time for the holidays, the stocking stuffer package is here. 4 half-pound packs of jerky for $55. And as always, free shipping Alberta-wide. Hop on to albertajerky.com to order yours. Enter the code GOTYOURBACK, and that will get you an additional 10% off. I've got like 2 or 3 here, Struds. I know you got a few. We had some come in on the stream. Zuby, you can throw in any brownie points that you want. I am going to start us off with 15 brownie points for young Dylan Holloway, who I believe is now up to 8 goals and 7 assists, 15 points in the 26 games that he has played. Had a goal and assist tonight, I believe. Struds, Dylan Holloway continuing to play real well, and certainly proving himself to this new head coach.
Yeah, he's doing a hell of a job, and it's good to see. He seems like a great kid. I remember we interviewed him on the Gregor show when they drafted him, and I was like, I love this kid. I just love his attitude, his positivity. I'm gonna go 12 brownie points for the players that will be named tomorrow, because we're about 12 hours away from the naming time. And the excitement, now some of them, it sounds like they may know already, which I don't really understand. But either way, to be officially announced for those 4 teams, it'll be an exciting moment. And I think a real, not a defining moment of your career, but a very cool kind of moment in your career to be on one of those teams.
For some of those guys that haven't had the chance to step into a stage like this, it'll be pretty awesome for them, for sure. No question. Zuby, we got one? What do you got?
People love to give negative brownie points. Neon Rider says, -9 brownie points for Jack Eichel for getting caught smelling his farts instead of burying that empty netter when Connor caught him from behind. And on the flip side of that, we know Sherry Frazee, she's always going to come in on the positive side. She's given brownie points to McDavid. I'm guessing maybe 97 of them to McDavid for his pickpocket on Eichel, saving an empty netter to have a chance to tie it up.
Out of nowhere. Came out of nowhere. I love that back check. That was incredible.
Little ho-hum there from Eichel staring at an open net. Like, you gotta know there's 6 Oilers on the ice that are all trying to get to you. He just seemed a little Sunday walk there with the puck.
No spidey senses. Like he had no sense that he was coming. You got to know Connor, and Connor was buzzing all period, so you couldn't. It wasn't like, oh, where did this guy come from? He'd been buzzing the whole game.
Did you see his face? There's a view where you see his facial expression, a slow motion where you can see Eichel's facial expression coming back around. He looked he knew he had to come back hard on that play after giving it up like that.
Mm-hmm. Somebody said, I can't find it. Someone was calling for Matthias Ekholm to get some brownie points tonight because of that shot block.
Yeah.
He looked beat up after the game, too, in his post-game press conference. He was all beat to heck, his cheek and his eye and all that. There's Gomez. Give Ekholm some for that block in the slot. Love that stuff. How many do we think Brownie would give Matthias Ekholm? He'd probably take the easy way out and just give him 14 because that's the guy's number, but
maybe give him one big brownie point for the one big bruise he'll have from the shot.
Okay, I like that one. One big brownie point for Matthias Ekholm.
The big ones are very important.
I'm giving 45 brownie points to my wife, Randine, and I. We dug in for a good 45 minutes at my mother-in-law's house today, Struds, and we pieced together a piece of furniture that was bought off Amazon that no doubt had the worst instructions you have ever seen. Nothing was labeled. Everything was upside down and backwards. They actually had drawer sets with blue and yellow rollers where you put the drawer in. And they had it so that it was blue on one side and red on the other and blue on the other side. So like they didn't even match the colors. It was ridiculous, but we got it done. So kudos to Randy and I, 45 each.
That's pretty impressive. And it took how long? 45 minutes?
I'm a handy guy when I put my mind to it.
I love it. That's crazy. I'm going to give one brownie point here to the Penguins, I believe, 4 brownie points. They've won 4 games in a row. They take down the Penguins. They had two goal leads in this game. They come back and keep Penguins, let Panthers back in, but get the overtime winner 5-4. That's 4 in a row for the Penguins, who maybe are stabilizing, but I still don't think they're a playoff team. Sorry, Penguins fans.
I have a net of 0 brownie points for Alexander Georgiev, or since it's brownie points, we'll call him Georgie the Fifth. A net of 0 because today he let in 4 goals and made 4 total saves. That was his night. 8 shots, 4 goals, 4 saves before he got yanked in the first period against the Sabres. And his team came back to win the game in 5-4. And I don't think they even needed overtime, I believe. I think that was in regulation. So 0, big donut for Georgie the Fifth. Rough stat night for him.
Yeah, that was a tough one. Draisaitl chimes in, says 0 brownie points to Rishaug for teasing us with his coloring in bed. And 3 months later, no updates. All right, Draisaitl, here's what we got. Working on a little hummingbird action, got a bunch of different little color schemes and such. Here, can you see that there? So I have not put a lot of time in on it lately. Been getting to bed a little later since pod season is up and running, but it's coming along. Maybe I'll have the hummingbird done by the new year. And Struds, you can't say a word? You freaking knit.
Yeah, no, I'm not going to say anything.
I got one last one on the stream, continuing the inside joke of my sweater. Hank 809, but he knows what he's talking about. 35 brownie points for Zuby sweater. Same number of floors as there is in the Nakatomi Plaza building. It's a little inside baseball, but you got to know that.
Man,
that's important to know if you watch that movie.
A movie made 35 years ago. That's amazing level of detail. The commitment from you guys. All right, that was Brownie Points, brought to you by Hamel's Premium Jerky. We expect Brownie to be back after the Columbus game. He can do his own Brownie Points because he does a better job of them than we do. Okay, that'll wrap this segment. When we come back, our core blue liners, we will take a lap and ask us anything as well. This has Got Your Back, presented by Play Alberta.
With over 18 years in the industry, Kelly Zaretsky and her team at Blue Summit Accounting deliver client-focused solutions and financial guidance for success in a simple and comfortable way. Whether it's for corporate or personal needs, Blue Summit Accounting can help with taxes, estate planning, financial services, bookkeeping, and more. Get in touch today. Email bluesummitacct@gmail.com or call 780-416-9662.
Zubia, I don't know what we're doing next. Direct me, sir.
How about
HSE?
How about HSE?
There it is. Oh, that's a sharp-looking graphic you came up with them for, buddy. That is tight.
Very slick.
Time now for Core Blue Liners, brought to you by HSE Core Services. If you're a small to medium-sized business, HSE Core has your back when it comes to health and safety compliance for creating and managing a tailored health and safety program that meets all legislation and core requirements. HSE Core supports client operations every step of the way. Visit them at www.hsecor.com. hsecor.com. If you are a business owner, it can really help you out with some of this stuff. So give them a shout. Check them out online. Struds, who are we taking a close look at tonight, buddy?
Yeah, Shea Theodore. I remember when I just had a casual conversation with Kyle Gano when he'd gone down to Anaheim. And I'm like, what do you think? He's like, oh, it's great. We have Getzlaff and Perry and all these guys. He's like, but this young kid, this Shea Theodore, is a real player. Then what's the other D-man that was there, Shogger? He just went to Seattle. I'm pulling he signed from Florida to Seattle. Huge contract.
Montour?
Brent. So he talked about both those guys saying how good they were. And here he is. He was right? They're many years later. So Shea Theodore is in Vegas now. He's big, he can skate, and he can make plays. And he's fun to watch. But I actually find him to be a little bit understated. He's not, I think his top offensive year is about 50 points. So he's not destroying it offensively, but he's an understated puck mover. So he doesn't, have to carry the puck all over the place and make all these crazy plays. He gets it and moves it quickly. And we kind of saw that tonight from him. But he is a core piece of their team. He's got him, they're signed, I think, for another 6 or 7 years. A new contract starts next year. But that D as a group are huge. You've got him, you got Nick Hague, you got Pietrangelo, you got Noah Hannafin, just absolutely humongous, long, sticked D. They can all, for the most part, they can move pretty well. But Shea is one of the better skating ones for sure, him and Hannafin.
Yeah, just a really nice overall game. And it's almost like a lot of times that Vegas D, just the size of a lot of them are, they're 6'1", 6'2", 6'3" plus, all move pretty well, like defend pretty well, can move the puck pretty well. It's almost like it's just like a template stamp. A lot of them are pretty similar in the way that they play and the skills that they bring, and they take up a lot of space out there, Struddy. Like it feels like a playoff blue line.
It does. And tonight was a playoff game. Let's just call it what it was, especially, I think in the third, defending a lead, 1-0, whatever. But they're very structured in how they play in their own zone, but they take up a lot of space, right? Those sticks get in the way. So, just like some teams you hear, they don't even look at a goalie under 6'2". I don't think these guys want a D-man under 6'2" because they don't have one. Yeah. McNabb, I didn't even talk about McNabb. White Cloud, I think he's 6'2" or so, and he's not even playing every night. So they've got a big D, and Shea Theodore he's really nice. He's a nice player. Think about Anaheim had both him and Montour at one time.
Yeah.
Crazy.
And Fowler was in that mix too. I think Fowler was sort of the golden boy of that young group of D, right? Fowler.
Yeah, Lindholm. He was before them. Lindholm. Hampus Lindholm. That's crazy.
And they just traded that other young guy. To Philadelphia here this last year. The one that had the shoulder injury.
Right. Drysdale.
Oh, what the heck is his name? What's that?
Drysdale.
Yeah, Jimmy Drysdale as well. Yeah, they've had some nice defensemen come through that organization.
Yeah.
All right, that was Core Blue Liners, brought to you by HSE Core Services. Okay, let's see what else was going on around the league tonight, Struds. Time for us to take a lap. That's brought to you by Acon. So they operate here in Edmonton proudly, but this is a big company with 150 years in the construction industry, and they've spearheaded some of the most notable projects across Canada. But the thing about Acon, they are looking for quality workers. So if you're a tradesperson or a laborer, if you're looking for work, if you know somebody who is, Go to their website, acon.com, and click Join Our Team. You'll see there's a comprehensive list of all the jobs they have available in all the different areas across the province, across the country. Huge company. They're looking for quality people. So if you or anyone you know needs employment, definitely go check it out right away at acon.com and click Join Our Team. Where you want to go tonight, Struds?
Well, we got to start in Calgary. Just a really special night. I recorded it, so I didn't see it live. I'm not going to say
yeah, it was heavy.
Flames, Flames in Calgary, Flames and the Columbus Blue Jackets playing in Calgary. They invited the entire Gaudreau family. I believe it was both wives, the mom and dad, all the kids, and they were there for an event before. And George Canyon sang, I think it was Johnny Be Good, but a really cool rendition. And I'm on record. I don't love the way he sings "Oh Canada," but he just killed that song. It was so perfect, Johnny Be Good, and why they were rolling highlights of Johnny Gaudreau. And then there was a face-off where both teams came and stood around the family who had walked out on a red carpet. And then Sean Monahan and Backlund, two former teammates of him, were there for the ceremony of puck drop. And it was a puck that had been left by a young girl named Maddie, I believe, at one of the many memorials for Johnny Gaudreau. And it was so emotional because as they were dropping it, Monahan was just bawling, right? He was tearing up, and with good reason. I get it. Then they're all hugging the dad, the mom, and it's a great moment. And I can imagine being on that ice and trying to play the first 5-10 minutes of that game after that. And the fans gave a standing ovation. Like, you know what? Terrible tragedy. But the way that I believe that the teams like Columbus and other teams and Flames have honored these players and their families, it's been really, really well done by everyone. So if you didn't get a chance, watch it. It was so well done.
Yeah, there's not a lot I can add to that, Struds. Just really, really difficult, emotional stuff. And I agree. They did a fabulous job to see the family together like that. You know, grandma and grandpa, hands-on with the kids. You think about, the role they're going to play in those kids' lives now.
Yeah.
Yeah, man, there's just a lot of weight to that whole thing, but beautiful job by the organizations. So definitely kudos to them. And then the guys played a solid game. The Flames played great. Yeah. And, they got on with it, man. They honored those guys by getting on with the game, and that's what they had to do.
And Johnny and his brother would have wanted that. Those guys were gamers, right? Like they would have wanted that, right? Play on, guys. Game goes on. And then lastly,
did you see this? Sorry, Struds, I didn't see this. Noah Rinsky chimed in and said they gave the first star to Johnny.
Oh, okay. So I didn't see that. Yeah, I was watching the older game. So, yeah, and I get it. I think that's yeah. I mean, he left there, and it was the whole thing. It just. The fans rallied around him, right, and supported the families, and I think that's huge. They're going to need support because this isn't over, that's for sure. And then lastly, the Vancouver Canucks are without one of their star defensemen, Phil Hronek, out 8 weeks, had a procedure, and he'll be out. So it gives opportunity to other guys like Vinny Darnay. Check Vinny played almost 18 minutes tonight, up a little bit from what he's been doing. So and then there's the rumors about. This is side, but people are talking about maybe that the Canucks checked in with Nikola Zadorov in Boston, and I'm like, I don't know, that's a big deal, man. 6x6, like I wouldn't be checking in unless Boston's willing to take half of that, or even a third or something. But so anyway, injury issues in Vancouver, and with JT Miller still out, dealing with I think a leave of absence.
Boy, Jakey DeBrusk really come alive out there. Hey, he had a hat trick the other night, starting to pour in the goals. Yeah. Like, good for him, streaky. Man. I like seeing him thrive.
Yeah. He's a streaky player, right? He's a streaky player. I think he had a goal tonight. That's his 11th. He had 6 shots. So it's good to see him. Good to see him out there and doing well.
All right, that was Taking a Lap, brought to you by our good friends over at Acon. Okay, that was a bit of a look at what was going on around the league, Struds, but let's dive into our scoreboard and see what else was going on, brought to you by Canadian Club. So in honor of the year the CC Distillery was established, 1858, their new Classic 18-year-old high proof comes in at 58%. Oh, yeah, it's got some kick, but it's also really smooth. The highest proof Canadian Club Classic to date, full-bodied whiskey with aromas of caramel toffee, spicy vanilla, and rich oak with a butterscotch finish that really is super smooth. Let's discuss some other happenings around the league tonight on the scoreboard, Struddy, that affected the Oilers.
Pretty full night out there, people. Let's start with Montreal Canadiens. They win 2-1, and that doesn't really affect the Oilers too much, but it's a great story. Patrick Laine comes back, scores a power play goal in the second period. He played 17 and a half minutes, a couple shots. So the nice story by him, and that team needs something right now because it sounds like the management group isn't loving how the team is performing.
For sure.
So
just a
far
quick thought on Laine, Struds. I was listening to his pregame media availability. There was kind of a build up to this, right? We all know the injury happened. It was all really unfortunate. He was just really honest. And I really appreciate Laine. He gives good interviews, and he'll say what's on his mind. He was really good today. So look, I expect I'm going to go out there and be the exact same, and maybe I will, maybe I won't, but that's what I'm going to expect of myself, and we'll kind of see how it goes. He was just really upfront and honest. So when I saw he buried one, by the way, it was a fantastic call by Brian Mudryk, who does the regional games on TSN. But yeah, I was really happy for Laine.
It'll be interesting how it performs there. Yeah, that's a real small place. There's high expectations for him there, and he's coming off been a tough stretch for him the last number of years, right?
Yeah.
So
Four Nations will help him though, potentially. Hey,
yeah,
he'll be there.
Yeah, and I think that scoring your first game, just get it off. Like, imagine if he's 10 games deep, he hasn't scored. Let's go then to the Wild. The Wild beat, they complete the comeback in overtime. Kirill Kaprizov scores with like 40 seconds left in overtime to make it 3-2, complete the comeback. So that's a pretty big one. The Wild keep on rolling. The Jets lose to the Blues 4-1, as you mentioned. Pretty big night for Holloway, but I believe, if I'm correct, the Jets have lost 7 of 10 games now. So a little bit coming back down to reality. I might be a little bit wrong there, but I think
3-7-0, including 4 straight losses.
Yeah, so there you go. So, and then lastly, the Flames won the game 3-0 over Columbus, in which they honored the Gaudreau brothers. So the Flames, they keep fighting. That Ryan Huska, man, I'm telling you, I think he is my clear-cut vote for head coach of the year. That's probably biased,
really?
But I think he's, I believe it. Well, most people had him picked for bottom 5, right?
Yeah,
bottom
that's
5.
Fair.
So there.
He's done a good job for sure.
So what do you judge it on? Do you have to get your team in the playoffs, or is it about how much above expectations your team performs?
Mm-hmm. I don't know. Where are you at on Spencer Carbery and the Capitals?
That is also another. So those that's probably true.
Another good one.
That's
he'd be in the mix too, right?
Those are probably the two that you'd have to do. I think most would expect him to be. I mean, if the Flames don't make the playoffs, they probably don't get it. Yeah. He doesn't get it. If they make the playoffs, now you got a conversation between the two.
And a nice feather in his cap if he is in that conversation. If the Flames can actually find a way to be playing some meaningful games into February, I think that'd be a great feather in Ryan Huska's cap. So good on the Blazer alumni. All right, that was our scoreboard brought to you by Canadian Club. Let's roll right on into Ask Us Anything. Zuby, hop on in here, my friend. We want to thank everybody for joining us on the live stream tonight, getting your comments in. Hit the like button if you get a chance. We'd appreciate that. Ask Us Anything is brought to you by Mortgages by Maria. I have sung her praises many times because I've used her for a number of years. Maria Gallus, Maximal Mortgages, has got you covered with all your mortgage needs, whatever it is. Inquiries. If you just want to check on, what your options might be, check in with Maria. She'll take great care of you. She'll get you answers quickly, and just a real reliable person to have on your personal team. Mortgagesbymaria.ca is the website. Hi, Zuby.
How's it going?
Good. The people want more of your opinion in this segment, apparently.
Yeah. Well, we'll see. They'll change their mind pretty quick about that, I'm sure. But I appreciate Mr. Polinsky. He's in Australia, by the way. I remembered that he was one of our overseas friends. Do you want to? Should we wrap the poll first?
Good. That's why you're an amazing producer. I would not have remembered.
Okay, good. Well, it was, oh goodness, I have my wrong shot here. We're going to find that. No, it's this one. There I am. Okay, so here our DeBoer's Golf Shop and Fitting Center YouTube poll tonight. The question was, who do you consider to be the Oilers' biggest rival right now? Probably tonight's game, maybe influence that a little bit, as Las Vegas ran away with it at 60%. The Canucks, residual of the playoff series last year, 26%. Calgary, only 9%. I guess that's just a function of the teams kind of heading or perceived to be heading in different directions right now. Other, only 3%. The only write-in votes for other teams we actually had was all Florida. We had a number of Florida. There were no Leafs write-in votes. And there was one funny comment here. Oh, Noel Rinsky said, I chose other. Their biggest rival is the online GMs that think they know better. So I thought that was good.
All right, good stuff.
That was a good write-in vote as well. Now let me make sure I'm going to get us to the right shot here so we don't lose any of our... This one, there it is. Okay, great. So here we go to Ask Us Anything. Couple of interesting questions here tonight. Stealth Legend says, how concerning is it that the Oilers have been shut out 5 times in 25 games when they were shut out 3 times all of last year? That's certainly surprising. How concerning is it?
Well, I think one, you look at some of the reasons why they've been missing Hyman. You know, that's 50 goals that haven't been there in the lineup, right? Nuge didn't get off to a great start. The power play hasn't been on fire. Arvidsson hasn't got it done. So I think there are reasons you can highlight as to why they've perhaps been shut out in those more games.
Just taking a look here at the power play opportunities in those games. I mean, it's power play. I mean, it normally gets them goals on those nights where they're not able to find it otherwise. So they were 0 for 1 in one of them. They were 0 for 1 in the other. Where else? 0 for 1, 0 for 3. So yeah, and they were on no power plays at all tonight. So they're not a team. And it was interesting, the guys on the broadcast mentioned these are 2 of the lowest penalty drawing teams in the league, Struds, Vegas and Edmonton. Like, they're not doing a great job of getting that weapon on the ice more often. And they, you know, you can play a certain way that will draw more penalties, but it's not, they're just not, they're not great at it right now, Struds.
Not putting pressure on the D or the other team, like by driving in the middle of the ice and getting there, making you haul you down because you got a half step on them. That's how you see quite a few of them. You know, you think of hooking and slashing, those types of calls, interference.
Gomez says, I'm surprised Struddy not bringing up the perfect PK tonight. Like that one from Gomez. PK was perfect against Struds.
That's what is that? Is that 10
starting a new
games?
streak?
10 games with 1 goal against in it. That's pretty good.
There you go.
Okay, there's some chat, some people feeling like they weren't loving Corey Perry in the top 6. Millsy in the LMD says, time to move Skinner up the lineup and give him a chance. Now, we've talked about this a lot already to this point, but is now the time, you know, with the injuries that are still there, is now the time to give him a shot? Especially, I thought he looked better tonight. There's been some comments to that end as well. Maybe he's finding chemistry with that line that he's on.
If not now, when? If you're not going to do it and you have 2 guys missing your top 6, when are you going to do it? So there's something's not working here between Skinner and the coach. And I'm not suggesting there's an issue, but if you're not going to play him there now, you picked a guy up off waivers, as Brownie said, and put him in that spot. So I don't know. I don't know where this ends up, but how are they going to bridge this gap?
Yeah. I don't know what the answer is. If you're going to put, I mean, you can easily put McDavid and Draisaitl together against Columbus if you want to load them up and then maybe give Skinner a look up the lineup a little bit. But I don't know if you're putting him with Leon Draisaitl. You're not moving Podkolzin out of there, and you're not putting him in Nuge's spot on McDavid's line. So, I mean, unless you're flipping someone over to the other side, like it's not an ideal fit, and he's not exactly playing his way into it. So, yeah, we will see which way Knoblauch goes. If he's still not in the top 6, and Hyman and Arvidsson are, although I would expect Hyman, there's a good chance he'll be back in a couple of days here, so we'll wait and see. Couple more, Zuby.
There was a correction too. Apparently, it's the 4th time they've been shut out this year, but still, 4 in 25 versus 3 in an entire season. So notable if I were to steal someone's statement there.
My trademark statement.
Yes. Calvin Best wants to know regarding the Four Nations face-off. Are teams allowed to practice during the break?
I would think not. I think it's just a break for everybody. It's a scheduled break so that guys are literally taking holidays and getting away from the team, Struds.
Guys are very pre-planned. They pre-planned their trips. They know where they're going. There's so they'll say you can get I'm just whatever that is, 6 days off completely. And so guys have their things, so they'll leave if they can that night or whatever. Then they'll get back the day before and then practice. And so everyone's the same. They don't want any advantage one way or another. Now, guys can skate. You can fly home and wherever you want and skate by yourself, but there can't be anything formal, organized. And most guys are gone. Most guys will be gone.
So if you want to skate with an Oiler, head on down to the downtown community arena. Vasily Podkolzin needs some people to skate with. I'm sure he'll be putting in 4 to 5 hours a day, every day during the break.
He'll be out there unloading the pucks even for you before you get there.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, Gomez wants to know, and we've talked about this, but I wonder if your opinion has changed on it, Shogger. Ask us anything. Hyman, Arvidsson back. Who gets sent down? I think Kapanen needs to stay. You thought he was a likely candidate in the conversation. Is that still how you feel today?
Yeah, well, the problem is they don't have enough centers. Like, they don't have guys that can play. Who's your 4th line center if you send Derek Ryan down? Right? So, I mean, like, you need guys that can play center ice. So unless you want to move Janmark down onto the 4th line in the middle, like, they just don't have a lot of great options. So, yeah, I mean, I think when both those guys are ready, unless the Oilers want to carry the extra forward, like Kajula will go down for one of them. And then when the other one comes back, either you carry the extra forward, which they've not wanted to do all year, or you send Kapanen down and maybe lose them on waivers.
Yeah, I think we just got a text. I think Kajula was sent down already tonight.
Oh, was he? Sorry, I missed that.
So
I didn't see that. We've been on the show.
So that tells me Hyman's probably back next game. But with Kapanen, they might just hold on to him, just even for a week or two, and just see what happens, right? I think, and then if someone else gets injured, so let's just see what happens.
Here's the thing, though, Struds. So look at their games. So they play Thursday and then they play Saturday. Those are home games. If you suffer an injury Thursday, you can get someone here for Saturday. Then they don't play till Tuesday. Then they're on the road in mini Thursday. Like, it's a busy month, but they don't really have – they've got one back-to-back to my eye. They got one back-to-back this month. And so the risk of 12 forwards is if you pick up an injury, can you get someone in time? They've got the extra defenseman as it sits.
But they might like the player. They might actually like the player, right? What if
I think they like cap space at the deadline. I think they prioritize. They've shown how much they prioritize cap space at the deadline. So liking a guy that can hang, we'll see. We'll see. If, I think the coach gets a say in it too a little bit. He doesn't necessarily want to be dragging 12 forwards around and playing every night. Like, we're seeing drop off. Talk about Corey Perry and Derek Ryan. These are not guys who are built to be in the lineup every single night, and capping and keeping them around would allow you some flexibility there too. So we shall see. One more, Zuby. You gonna wrap it?
One more quick question, then a statement that I wanted to include. Jeff, I know we sort of touched on this. Jeff McDonald, Bush did the slide and the puck goes in. What do you think, Dr. Strudwick? And just the only thing I just wanted to come back to on that is just he couldn't have done the slide any better. I mean, didn't he actually execute it as well as you can, and just the result was kind of just went right back on that guy's stick?
Yeah, just bad luck. Bad luck. Like I said, I don't love guys going down and sliding, but obviously that's their plan, right? They talk about it. This is what we're going to do on 2-on-1s.
And I'll remind everybody, because he's not here, Rob Brown always says he absolutely hated it when defensemen slid on 2-on-1s because it took away his only other option and he was forced to shoot. So the forward hates it when the D-man does it. Struds doesn't like it when other D-men do it.
Okay, last one. I think this was a nice and funny message that came in. Jerry Mancini says, team played well tonight. Watched the game at the hospital as my wife is about to give birth. Congratulations.
Oh.
So exciting time for us. However, the loss sucks. Looking forward to listening to the pod tomorrow, he says. So he's in on the joke
Jerry.
too.
That's amazing.
But
Yeah,
congrats. He'll have to chime back in and let us know when the little one has arrived and any other information, names and genders and all of those, and how mom's doing and all of that good stuff. Let us know. Not on the pod tomorrow, because there isn't one tomorrow, right? I think he was in on.
No pod tomorrow.
He was in on the joke there.
Thursday, yeah. Yeah, he's an avid listener and always reaches out with lots of great comments and such. So we wish you and your family the absolute best. Congratulations, and look forward to hearing some details. That was Ask Us Anything, brought to you by Mortgages by Maria. Let's wrap it up with our Gallery Dental Play of the Day. From air polisher cleanings to advanced treatments, they offer a full range of services designed to keep your smile healthy. Their team provides personalized care with the latest technology, making sure you get the best treatment. It's comfortable over there. That's a big thing at the dentist. Contact Gallery Dental YEG.com. We have a play of the day tonight, Struds. What do you got?
Yeah, a few overtime goals, but I'm going to go with the Pittsburgh winner. Brian Russ scores on a 2-on-1.
Yes.
And the reason is this, is that, Florida, they were down 2, they get back in. They're down 2, they get back into it. And in overtime, the Penguins win. And you know what, guys? I'm not a real Penguins fan, but I'm a fan of Sidney Crosby. I want this guy to make the playoffs. They're making a push, but I think it's too little too late, but you got to start somewhere, guys.
They've won 4 in a row. Like, they're putting some wins together, and it was hard. Like, it has been a grind for them this year. They haven't even been close on some nights. So, good on them. Sid's dragging them through it, and a nice overtime winner tonight that gets us our Gallery Dental Play of the Day. All right, Struds, thanks for showing up tonight to do the show. Much appreciated.
Love it, guys. We'll see you guys next time. I'll check the schedule.
Sounds good. Yeah. Zuby, there were a couple little technical things here and there, Zuby, the odd, shot that showed up. But I think people need to understand exactly how much you were juggling behind the scenes. Like, for you and Steve-O to be able to come on, manage that segment, bring in the comments, talk yourselves, switch all the shots and everything. You're basically like, picture the one-man band, the guy playing like 9 different instruments. It is a lift you guys are doing during this show, so we appreciate you, buddy.
Yeah, I want it to be perfect. A couple little things I can tighten up. I got to fix up my my Stream Deck here. A couple little gremlins got in there, but we'll get it tightened
Always
up
pushing.
And have a clean show. Yeah, I'm never satisfied.
Right on, buddy. That's why we love you.
But thank you.
All right. Thanks, guys. Appreciate it. Great show. Thanks to all of you for joining us on the live stream. Thanks for your downloads and your subscriptions. We really appreciate it. Oilers will take on the Columbus Blue Jackets on Thursday night. Should have Rob Brown back in-house for that one. Look forward to it. Have yourselves a fantastic couple of days, and we'll chat soon. See ya.